If you don't think that a command climate survey matters about your individual unit's readiness or your ability to lead, then you're fucking high. That is the best example of the worst officer ever. Some people would say that there's a bit of a divide between the enlisted ranks and the officer ranks, and some enlisted men would say that there's just officers that don't think that the enlisted are people, and there are officers that say, well, that's just not true.
And what did we learn?
They're people now.
Yep.
And then there are moments like this that give credence to the enlisted worries that the officer rank think that they are so much better than the lowly enlisted men, and that they could never take themselves to be as dirty as an enlisted man. And that's Ivan Snook on Twitter. Retired U.S. Army, sorry, we don't want you. Retired U.S. Marine. Ivan Snook is a bit of a kook, a bit of a douche, you'd say. He went on Twitter and caused such a tither, and now everyone knows he's lame. Kooky Snooky's tweet got a lot of traction, 1.1 million views. Wow, that's a lot. Stating that enlisted men should not become officers. A Mustang, that's a slang term for an enlisted man who becomes an officer, and let's backtrack on why he said that. Now the tweets in the message chain started off when a young enlisted man who's trying but wants to become an officer stated that he had some mental health assistance. But in order to become an officer, you have to give up all of your medical documents, including that mental health assistance, which cleared him. Totally fine for duty. But he doesn't want anybody to know about the mental difficulties he had. That's personal. He could find it embarrassing. And what if it prevented him from getting promoted? Now everybody knows his business, that he got fixed anyway. He's still serving. He's totally fine to serve. And another outstanding NCO responded saying, if he's good to go for service, why does somebody else have to dig down into his past to try and find something that has already been fixed? It really is only just a way for someone to nitpick him out of the position. And that prevents good NCOs from becoming great officers. And of course, it being the internet, some idiot has to respond with their 2 cents. Insert Kooky Snooky. The military should stop giving commissions to any enlisted. Mustangs erode the legitimacy and distinct culture of the officer corps, like merchants marrying into the aristocracy. Nevertheless, we are intent on lowering the standards and reducing military service to being just a job. Oh God, we can't have the dirty working class marrying into the aristocracy. Heaven forbid we have somebody who knows what it takes to get the job done and has done it, move up into a leadership level in order to, I don't know, assist that aristocracy, officer class, in making better decisions? No. We automatically have these better decisions because we're in the aristocracy. Our ideas are good because of where we are. That's the same logic as saying that the 101 is the best airborne division in the United States Army because I happen to be in the 101. Well, what happens when that troop goes to the 82nd or 10th Mountain Division? Well, that dumb troop who thinks that his unit is the best because he's in it, well, thinks that that next unit is the best. And then that next unit is the best because they have no idea how to think for themselves. Kooky, he must have a silver spoon all the way up his ass in order to make a comment like that and double down. Let's just see how Kooky Snooky doesn't respond to reason. One of the many responses to Kooky Snooky's tweet was this. What is the purpose of E to O, enlisted to officer pathways? Military effectiveness? A sop to the plebes? Kooky Snooky responds, marketing materials for recruiters to give upper middle class moms. What the fuck classist bullshit is this? I've never seen such a stereotypical nose high in the air, high off their own piss. It's to make the dumb poors happy, for which we choose to let them live and or die, as we sit drinking tea and looking at overlays on top of the wall. Yes. 3rd Battalion should be at the top of the hill, not the bottom. Yes. Unfortunately for Snooky, more dirty enlisted men chimed in. I'm a retired Marine Corps Master Gunnery Sergeant. I served 23 years and 12 more as a civilian supporting the Marine Corps. There's no question that Mustangs make good officers. We have plenty of combat experience that proves it, and that's why the program remains. What do you think about that, Kooky Snooky? What is the effect on the officer corps? I can't even say. I have to read like, What is the effect on the officer corps as a whole when, as is currently the case, you have many if not most enlisted openly saying that only officers I will respect are Mustangs? In what ways were you precluded from contributing to combat by being a senior NCO instead of a commissioned officer? You hear that, kids? Stay in your lane. Don't come up here and lead. You stay down there and do. We need you down there, not up here with us. You stay with the enlisted men because you started as an enlisted man. Don't muddy our waters. I love the last line. In what ways were you precluded from contributing to combat by being a senior NCO instead of a commissioned officer? What precludes him from being an effective officer if he was already an effective non-commissioned officer? The answer is your stupid viewpoint, you jizz. Now, Kooky Snooky, with his, deformed brain, tries to rationalize his train of thought here. Look at all the comments here along the lines of, the only officers I ever respected were Mustangs. Most of that respect is for the Mustang's technical expertise and capacity for empathy, in contrast to the non-Mustang's lack of technical expertise and mere sympathy. And it is fundamentally narcissistic. Unlike your entire take on this, that dirty enlisted men who just joined the branch in a different way are too besmirched and tainted to become a high-class officer. I think you accidentally just shit on yourself. NCOs have a technical expertise in the job already. So, if you're 5 or 6 years as an NCO and become an officer, you already know how things are supposed to be. Hell, you might even be an asset to your chain of command because now you're an officer with a different point of view. The enlisted sees himself in the Mustang as evidence that they themselves are more worthy than non-Mustang officers. As a platoon leader, yeah. As a company commander, possibly. Once you become field grade, your Mustangness is kind of evaporated among the troops. This causes a very widespread belief among the enlisted that 90% of officers aren't worth following. Well, you, sir, are 100% an officer not worth following if you think all the enlisted below you need to stay there and mind their own business and stay out of officer affairs. Oh my gosh, the Navy is the worst at this, and this is coming from a Department of the Navy cat, so that their judgment is dubious. You, sir, I think have been smoking on the dubious if you thought that this was a good tweet, and that their legal orders should be subverted. A good enlisted man and a good officer will have a line of communication between the two, so that when the butterbar says something fucking dumb, the lower enlisted man, even a specialist or corporal, can go, Lieutenant, no, that's a bad idea. And that's the point. You fucking idiot. You have the lowest of the officer rank with a senior enlisted man paired up because one's technical prowess, expertise that you just stated, is well above that of the officer. So then the NCO can quickly bring them up to snuff. So it's our job that you are a good officer for the first 4, 5, 6 years. And obviously the NCO that you were with failed you, because I would have taken you out in the fucking pit if you had this fucking stupid idea. Does this idiot realize that it's not 1810 anymore and everybody has a pretty good education? It's just whether or not you get in when you're young or you get in after college. You spent 4 years in fucking college. What do you have? A liberal arts degree? This guy's gotta have a degree in philosophy because nothing but useless shit is coming out of his mouth. Useless shit wrapping papered up in big shiny words to make you think that it means anything. Surely you don't think this supports good order and discipline? Yeah, it does. Don't be a shitty leader and then we won't have to correct you and pull you aside and say, sir, shut the fuck up. And what is the overriding benefit to turning these excellent enlisted Marines into officers instead of senior NCOs? Their point of view. their expertise, the fact that they've seen poor leadership and great leadership and had to follow it. And now they can look amongst their peers, now officers, and say, you should not do this or that because it will be taken in such a direction. Like maybe you shouldn't tweet about how we're fucking stupid, dumb, useless Mustangs and the enlisted should stay there and just stay in their lane in front of the group because then you have no leadership power. This fucking doofus thinks that the rank is where you get your power from, and that's somewhat true. Hey, military customs and courtesies, respect the rank, not the individual. If you're in charge, I have to understand and respect and follow orders. But at the same time, if you don't think that a command climate survey matters about your individual unit's readiness or your ability to lead, then you're fucking high. If nobody trusts you or likes you and you're a company commander, and basically meaning you're a shitty company commander if nobody likes you or trusts you, how effective do you think you're gonna be in combat? You're not. Thank God you got out of fucking recon. You couldn't recon your fucking ass out of a wet paper bag, let alone look at a tweet and see how fucking mind-numbingly tone deaf it is. You never need a colonoscopy because your head's so far up your ass you could just look around and see where the cancer is. It's you, buddy. What do they accomplish as a battalion executive officer that they couldn't as battalion sergeant major? If a fucking sergeant major says, hey, we're gonna do a fun run today, and the battalion commander says, no, we're not, guess what you're not doing? For a guy who's been preaching about they can't take away our authority and it's given to us, you just fucking flipped ship there and just said, well, they're about the same thing, aren't they? Aren't they? And what happens to the junior Marine's opinion of their sergeant major when all the best enlisted, the ones worth following, are expected to have become officers? Nobody's expecting anybody to have become an officer. We're saying, hey, enlisted becoming officer is a good thing. And you're saying, no, it's not, for all these dumb reasons that don't make sense. That for some reason everybody's shitting me on, but I'm looking at from my fucking ivory tower saying I couldn't possibly be wrong. Insert Simpsons quote perfectly here.
Am I so out of touch? No, it's the children who are wrong.
So I'm going to say what everybody else has been saying, but I feel like they're walking around the bush. Ivan Snook, you are a horrible officer in any branch, and unfortunately the Marine Corps is able to call you one of theirs. God bless them. You are the walking stereotype of the teetotaling pinky in the air along with nose in the air shit don't stink officer who belittles and detests the enlisted men underneath him, yet demands they follow his every order. And if it's not done to the exact specification of your standards, oh, it's just because they're dumb idiots. And how dare they dirty your walking floor to come in and think they can advance their career in the same way that you're doing yours. I see now why your tiny penis, very scared mini libido could not handle a scary enlisted man walking into the office and sitting next to you because he could smell your bullshit from a fucking mile away and call it out to the fucking lieutenant colonel and XO of your battalion and say, this guy is gonna be fucking fratricided in a heartbeat if we let him go anywhere near the enlisted men, and rightfully so. If you want to support a stupid enlisted man like myself, check out angry-cops.com. I've got brand new limited time whoopee hoodies. And see you next time, weirdos. I was a recon Marine captain. You are a fucking idiot. I can't wait. I wish if you are one of his troops, if you got out and you feel like telling me about him, you go right ahead and slide into my DMs and tell me how much of a piece of shit leader he was. I'll gobble it up like a pig eating shit.